There's a high probability that the US government will shut down this week, and it has investors worried. So, how much could it cost the economy? And what do past shutdowns tell us about how it might impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Liz Laprade, Senior Research Analyst, with today's episode of the Harbor Lookout. So, every year, the government has to approve on a spending budget, and sometimes Congress cannot agree by the time the deadline for the new fiscal year comes. And typically, when that happens, the government and many of its agencies stop functioning until an agreement is reached. Of course, this does come at a cost to the economy. The last shutdown in 2018 cost about $11 billion, with $3 billion of that never recovered. And this week, Goldman Sachs said in a Wall Street Journal article that they expect every week the government is down to shave about 20 basis points off of annualized GDP. Now, before this stresses anyone out, we have been here before, in fact, 21 times before. Since 1976, there have been 21 shutdowns, and 2018 was quite an outlier, lasting 35 days. If you exclude that outlier, the average shutdown lasts only about 6 days. Given that there has been a history of government shutdowns, I decided to look at performance of stock and bond markets in prior shutdown periods. And I'm using the S&P 500 as a stock proxy and the Bloomberg US Ag as a bond proxy. This is what I found. During shutdowns, both stocks and bonds were relatively flat. In the 12 months leading up to a shutdown, stocks on average were up about 6% and bonds 1%. The 12 months after a shutdown, stocks were up on average 11% and bonds 0.5%. Now, each shutdown has its own unique macro backdrop that can impact markets in different ways. But history here tells us that bond investors and stock investors do not need to panic sell, as bonds and stocks on average were positive both before, during, and after a government shutdown. And that is it for me today. Talk to you all soon.